everyone, it's Tanya from Tanya Kraus Horsemanship here, and you are joining me for the Millie Diaries. As you can see, I've got her with me, and as promised, I'm going to start not showing all, I basically haven't shown her being caught today because you guys have seen it like 20 times. You know that she can get caught, and it's just going to save time on the videos all the time as we start moving into deeper content. So this afternoon I've got Phil here, and he is going to do her hooves for me. So I've just caught her and walked into the arena, and I'm just going to give her a really quick brush so she can just settle down into the routine of what we always do, because that's what I always do. I give her a brush and then I pick up her feet. So I don't want to sort of grab her and do something different straight away. So I'm just going to give her a little brush. We have actually locked Rip out today as well. In terms of safety, it's very important to have him not in here annoying Phil and trying to bite things and whatnot and getting in the way. And as I had said on a lot of previous videos, I'm going to start sort of probably just tying him up in the background, so he'll start to get the practice of being tied while the Millie Diaries are going on. We never underestimate the value of teaching a horse a bit of patience and teaching them to stand and be tied, and for him to do that while we're filming for 10 minutes is going to be a really excellent thing for him. So I'm just going to move her a little bit further back so you can see her feet, and Phil's going to come in, and he's probably going to take some off the front as well, I'd say.
Yeah, what was it, about 2 weeks ago we did the front, and when I did them I sort of just did what I had to. I'd like to have done a little bit more. She's still got a little bit of toe, a little bit of flair I want to get rid of, but I sort of got rid of, like I say, got done what had to be done to make it serviceable, and now we'll put a better trim on her. So, hey Millie.
Phil will just have to make friends with her first. She is pretty standoffish when it comes to people. She doesn't get to see anyone really but me. I mean, Phil feeds them, but obviously that's not handling. It's just feeding.
Phil throws hay at her.
Yeah.
Good job.
So as you can see, I'm standing on the same side as Phil, and I will continue to do so as long as I don't have to sort of support her if she decides to move or something. I do have a hold of that lead, so she does want to smell him, but I'm keeping that lead so it picks up quite tight. If she went to do something to him and bite him or something like that, I would be able to interrupt that. And but I don't want her to feel like I'm trapping her. I'm holding her here. I'm going to talk limited, even though she's very used to me speaking for these videos. She is a little bit uncomfortable with this, so I think that being quiet is probably best. So 2 little smells there, and now she's dropping into what we're actually doing, which is good. Wants to have another look. So,
Good feet, eh?
yeah, Phil just said she has good feet. And obviously because we're doing this and she's in the yard and we're doing the Millie Diaries every day, Phil will have the opportunity to do her feet about every 2 weeks, which I would recommend with a horse that you're trying to train for the farrier. As you guys have seen, every single day I've been picking up this mare's feet and picking them out, but it's not the same as having me in front, a person picking up her feet and using tools on them for an extended period of time. And we can definitely make that easier for her and for all of our horses by, picking up their feet every day and using tools like picking them out with a hoof pick and things like that. But Phil's energy's different than mine, and he's bigger and he smells different, and she doesn't, like with most of us, I suppose, with farriers.
I smell like steak.
With most farriers, they're different people, and it's a pretty big ask that we just, horses are very vulnerable when their feet are not on the ground, and it's a pretty big ask for us to, I am watching that, Phil. It's a pretty big ask for us to expect our horses to trust a stranger and let them, do something to their feet. So just bear that in mind when you're training. And I absolutely will take the opportunity to get Phil to do Millie's feet about every 2 weeks while she's while she's in training, because then when she gets turned out and we start to relax it into a 4, 5 or 6 week trim, whatever she needs, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier for everybody concerned.
Doing it every couple of weeks too, it's just, I do less.
Yeah.
And you might not be able to do that if you haven't got someone in your house that can trim, but we're fortunate we can do that. It's a lot easier. As you can see, that's done.
Whoop. She said you said it was done.
Yeah, I spoke too soon, didn't I?
Okay, so I'm going to take Millie for a walk. Reason number one, to realign her with the camera, to get her back in the shot. And number two, because she is tense about it, even though she's not being reactive or anything like that, she is a little bit worried, and she hasn't yet done a lick and chew or a release or anything like that. So I'm going to take her for a walk and let her process a little bit.
But for a horse, that's the second time it's had anyone do anything on its feet, I'm happy with that. I didn't have to wrestle her. I don't want to do that. I don't want to wrestle her.
There's a big...
There's a blow.
Big blow. Big intake of breath. She wants to have a look at the gear. And we're obviously going to allow her to do that. And, your farrier might not allow your horse to do that. Hopefully, if you're booking in a new horse with your professional, your hoof care professional, you would probably want to let them know that it's a new young horse and ask them to stay a little bit longer and take a little bit more time, and compensate them for that that extra time. You're better off investing the money into letting them spend extra time with the horse and getting the horse confident in the process. Otherwise, you'll end up on all the local farriers' books as having that horse that no bugger wants to trim anyway. So you may as well have just invested the time and the money to do it right the first time.
Yeah, don't call me. Hey,
look at all the calves. We've got a bunch of calves on the back fence, all coming up. There's bees on by the arena. So she can kind of hear them as well. there's a nice little lick and chew. I don't know whether you guys can see it or not, but there's 3 tiny little calves on the fence line coming up to see what's happening. So that's why she's kind of looking around as well, because she can see them out of the corner of her eye. And they are paddocked in this paddock, and they've been calving for about a month, so you know it's not something strange. So Phil did well holding that then. You don't, you know, you can't get yourself injured, but you also need to try and, you know, go with the pull but not let it go, if that makes sense. So you don't want to give on a brace. Otherwise she'll learn that she can take her foot away from Phil, and there, he got what he needed to do done and put it back down again, so he could sort of show her, look, I'm going to put your foot down, but you can't take it off me. Good catch.
You done one or two?
Great. So that's her 2 front feet done. Second time ever. And as you probably recall, we didn't do her back feet on the last one. I think Phil just picked them up. So today he'll probably just do what he did with the front feet the first time and just, you know, nip them off a little, and then, you know, on the next time in 2 weeks we'll work with them again. We'll see how she goes, but obviously typically back feet are a little bit kicky. And she's still a bit wary, and like I say, she's got a full audience off the side here now, so she's you know, she's pretty interested in them watching her. She's watching them watching her.
Tom and Jolly, if you're watching this, they're black calves, so you wouldn't like them. They buck more. There we go. I'm not going to rush down and pick up a back feet. Just going to hang out here for a minute. I'm not going to fluff about too much, but you know, I'm not just going to dive in and pick her feet up.
She's not standing with balance either.
What I liked then was I didn't want to
Darling. That was not cool.
Hey?
I said that was not cool, was it, darling?
Nah, she didn't like that. We'll get there.
So a little reaction there. You guys didn't see it. You saw obviously her jumping forward, and I love that as soon as my hand hit her neck, she just stopped herself immediately and thought, holy crap, I can't go that way. And then you saw that little bit of reactivity that's left in there in regards to the lead rope. The lead rope kind of flicked, and that's what made her kind of back as well. But again, you know, same with the wormer. This mare can be like that. You know, she holds herself together, and then a little noise, like Phil put her foot on the stand, and she kind of pulled her foot off the stand, and everything obviously touched her and made a noise at the same time, and she just panicked, you know.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Anywhere away from you would be suitable. So what we might do, because obviously it's starting to get dark and you know she's pretty worried about this stand, we might get the stand put down. We'll give it one more shot here. Obviously she just stopped moving, but otherwise we need to go back in the training and get her to the point where she'll at least let Phil pick up her foot, and then we can rebuild it again. And I might do some work with the stand over the next coming days as well. I'm just going to move that. I don't like that being in the way. Very good. There we go. She's pretty worried about this. She's not real happy at all. She does have a really big scar on that leg as well, so the last time it would have been dealt with by strangers, so to speak, would have been vet treatment and whatnot. Can we just get this out of the way, please?
Sure.
So now she's that little bit reactive about the back of her, the top of her leg being touched. So I'm just going to come down here because I'm the one who works with her every day and try and desensitize her. So, you know, all we can do is keep going back until we can get to a point that the horse can accept. I mean, as Phil said, I'm lucky because Phil, you know, he lives here. So I've got the farrier on tap, so to speak. But there's no point in, you know, I don't believe that there's any point in forcing this issue. There's not a worry on this back foot like there was on the front foot. And again, we're trying to invest for her future. So if we have to go backwards and just get her to the point where she's kind of letting someone pick up her foot again, then that's fine with me. So Phil's working on the front leg there so he can pick it up and then put it back down again to show her what the expectation is, because obviously she's kind of still drifting a little bit at the back there.
It's only this near side, which is the one that's all scarred up.
Yeah, she's got pretty big scarring on that near side leg. She had quite a big accident when she was about 2 or 2.5, something like that.
The offside I picked up easy enough. This near side.
So Phil just said if he can pick it up and she relaxes, that he'll be happy. Come here, darling. Pick it up for her, but not pick. So I'm just going to send her in a little circle. Because I just want to change up what we're doing. Obviously, you can cause bigger problems by just keeping going over and over and over again. So I just want to take her mind off that walking away, walking away, walking away. So, she obviously needs a little bit more work on picking up those back feet in terms of Phil actually being able to do the job. So what we might do on the days when Phil has time is actually come out and get him maybe brushing her or doing something like that to build that familiarity. I know that people would probably say that, you know, you could just get in there and get the job done, which you probably could, but I don't see the point in, you know, she's genuinely obviously worried about him. She wants to move away from him. She's quite willing when it comes to me picking up the feet and things like that. You can hear how she's holding her breath, and then she takes those big kind of intakes of breath and things. And you saw how reactive she was when the hoof stand hit her back leg. So I really think that you could cause quite an issue if we just keep trying to force it. At least we've got her back to the point where she's picking up all 4 feet for me. I don't know what do you think about it, Phil?
I'd do a bit more work with her.
You do a bit more work today?
Yeah, you need to pick her back feet up a bit higher and hold
Yep.
them. Yeah, like they're not, for me to do the work I need to do, they need to be higher and held out.
Okay.
So we just need to hold them up and out,
Sure.
rather than just down low.
Okay, well that's, you know, that's a good, that's something that we can work on definitely. And like I said, I'll even do some work with the stand so she gets used to the noise of the stand and things like that, so we can start to remove the objections for her. And you know, like we always say, it's all about the horse. We didn't get what we wanted today. We didn't get what we wanted, which was to get all 4 feet trimmed. And you know, I obviously asked Phil to do it because I genuinely thought that she would be quite happy to let him do it, and she was fine with the front feet, or you know, pretty good with the front feet.
Awesome with the front feet.
Phil's saying she was awesome with the front feet. So yeah, her hind legs, I'm happy to do a little bit more prep. So if you couldn't hear him, Phil's asking me to lift up her foot higher, a little bit out to the side, and for a little bit longer. So I'm really happy to work with that and hopefully get her to a point where she's happy to let him do that. But I also think that we'll do a little bit more familiarity work with him, with Phil and her, so she's not so sort of standoffish. And she's like that with like every stranger that I've ever seen her with. She definitely is not, you know, it's got nothing to do with Phil or being a man or anything like that. I've seen her like that around women and everyone. It's just, she grew up in a big herd and didn't see, you know, very many people. So thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to sharing with you in episode 24 a little bit more progress in regards to this. Thank you for continuing to watch if you have watched all the way to the end. I know that there's a break in the filming, and I actually spent most of the day today deleting videos off my phone because it was full, and what I think I failed to do was actually delete them from the deleted box, recently deleted file. So I think it actually cut out in the middle. Either someone called me, which normally doesn't happen, it normally doesn't stop filming when someone calls me. So it wasn't us turning the camera off. You know, these series are for you guys to see the warts and all of everything that's happening with these horses. I've got no issue with sharing that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Phil, do you want to, you happy to leave it there today?
Yeah, we'll leave it there today. Like, it would have been, I could have got under and dragged the leg out and got Tanya to hold her tight and all that sort of stuff, but that's sort of not what we want for our horses. We want it to all be pretty relaxed. So she was just showing a bit of an objection. So, and it's Tanya's horse, Tanya's call. So she gets to take it easy and just work on that a little bit more. Like I say, I went around the offside and lifted that foot up quite easily. Whereas this near side, there's quite a bit of scarring. So who knows, maybe there's a little bit of stiffness in there. Maybe there's just that little bit of memory from when it was injured, getting treated, etc. So we'll just keep working with it, pick it up, hold it out a bit more, and yeah, go from there. She'll be right. She'll come good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.